Hi there, this is Sandy McManus with needsaribbon.com, and thank you for joining me for this edition of Coffee Break. So where during the time it takes you to drink a cup of coffee and have a break, we will make a card or a project. Today this is the project we are featuring, and it features the stamp set that is in the current mini holiday catalog. It's a mini catalog, but we're all going to call it a holiday catalog. On page 63, this is the one that is for the fall of 2020 that goes August through December. And it features the Festive Post stamp set. And I'm really digging this stamp set. It covers most of the seasons of the fall, and it coordinates with our rectangular postage stamp punch, which is featured in the annual catalog, the one that goes 2020 to 2021. Obviously, positions change as we get new catalogs, but currently you can find it on page 168 of the annual catalog, and it pairs with, you can get it as a bundle and save 10%. It pairs with the Posted for You stamp set, which is found on page 81 of the same catalog. And that kind of covers the other seasons that the Festive Post does not. And we will also use the paper from the Flowers for Every Season, which is just beautiful and covers all our 5 new in colors and coordinates with the Jar of Flowers stamp set and some other products. That is toward the beginning of the catalog. And we will also use this embossing folder, which is in the Ornate something. Wow. Ornate. Anyway, it's in one of the bundles, and it's in the back of the catalog, and it is one of our more dimensional folders, the 3D folders. So let's get started, shall we? So the base is Poppy Parade, because there's Poppy Parade in the paper, and I cut that to a 5.5 by 8.5 piece, and I've pre-scored it already. And it'll orient so the fold is on the top. That is the way I chose to do it. And we will put our flower layer on the front. I did not, I would include a layer, a liner, as we call them, for this card, because that poppy color is so dark, but I did not bring one for this video. So we'll attach that to the card front. There's a beautiful flowery layer. And it does give a really deep flower impression. As you can see, they're not quite daisies, they're just kind of small, dainty flowers. So next up, we have our Designer Series paper, which is again from that Flowers for Every Season. It's a paper stack. It is a 6x6, and this paper does have a mild orientation, as you can see. It looks kind of upside down if you were to spin it. So pay attention to that when you're making your project. And like the rest of my coffee break videos, the recipe will be at the very end of the video. Make sure you add enough glue, because this folder is so dimensional. You want to make sure that the glue seeps into all those creeps and crevices of the paper, and give it a good rub. Make sure it's attached. Next, we're going to build that element. And so for that element, we are using Bumblebee cardstock, more Poppy Parade, and we need to make that element. So here's a piece of scratch paper. You only need a piece of scratch paper. You don't need to pre-cut it. And we're going to use our Bumblebee and our Poppy Parade. And I wanted to point out, this was a fairly new ink pad. All our ink pads come with the stickers on the bottom for all the different languages, and a blank one. And let me show you what I do with mine when I get a new ink pad. Let me get that out of the way in case I drop my fingers in the ink pad. So I take and get my sticker, open my ink pad, open from the bottom where it's notched. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I put my stickers on the bottom, so when I pull it out, I can see it. People do them all kinds of different ways. So I put mine on the quote-unquote bottom, and that's the named sticker, so when it's on my shelf, I can see it. And then I take and grab my blank sticker. And I know some people take the other language and put it on the opposite end so you can see both sides. I don't, because I just it just isn't necessary for me. So then you take your blank sticker, or you could take one of the other language stickers. It kind of gives you an idea, because those ink pads look really dark. And if you have a bunch of them on your table and you open them up, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell which one is what. And you want to make sure you don't mess up, especially if you've already got an inked stamp. You don't want to transfer colors. So that is how I assemble our newer style ink pads. Okay, so let's get, and here is the punch, the rectangular postage stamp punch. It's kind of a mouthful. It's a stamp punch. And it does drop things in vertically. So just be aware of that when you are punching. So, because my elements are sideways, I'm going to go in this way for this particular element. That way I know what is right and left and top and bottom. So we have these beautiful flowers, which I will punch in our new in color called Honeybee. And yep, that is correct. This one does have an orientation if you are paying attention. And let me stamp it. I'll stamp it 2 times so I can, well, maybe only once. So I can show you what I mean. See this opening right there where there's no flowers? There's a purpose for that. Let's put that aside so I don't drop my fingers in it. Let's get out our Poppy Parade ink pad. And I'm going to use the Love from the same Festive Post stamp set and ink that up. And check this out. The Love, they've carved up the flowers so the Love nestles right in there. So you can, it's pretty easy to line up once you, I find that using that element and lining that up in the opening of the lower loop of the L makes it the easiest. Now watch that I'm on camera, I will mess it up. Hopefully not. I mean, even if you're slightly off, that's fine, but voila! That was a little off, but you get the idea. So that is my little tip on using those 2 elements together. You certainly could use, here, let's just bring that back over. Stamp some more yellow flowers. There's no reason you couldn't use that. If you didn't know you were looking for the Love in there, you'd just think that was flowers. And you certainly can use that alone or add a greeting or, you know, something in there. But those 2 really are designed to be paired together. Now, again, the punch drops in vertical. I had to stamp sideways because that's our stamps. But I have to line it up vertical. And it's a pretty forgiving one to punch. Just make sure you have about a 1/16 of an inch border going around the entire outside. And punch. And so now I need to layer this on our Poppy. See how quick this card is coming together? I don't think I need this anymore. Now I need to bring in some dimensionals. As you can see, I did 2 layers of dimensionals on this card. Oh, that bad boy got in there. Urgh. And we'll layer that on our bumblebee. Honeybee, bumblebee. You know what I mean. our yellow piece, our Pooh Bear piece. So, and let's take off our dimensional backs. And let's bring our card back over. We're going to position that so it centers over our Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. And as you can see, I added just a couple simple elements of pearls. It just, those little flowers just, I think they just needed a little help. So we'll add some of our pearls just to those two flowers. Gives it just a little bit more dimension. And with that, we are done. So, how would you mail a card that's that fat? Almost might get called from the post office. This is my advice. I would take and fold it inside out and stick it in your envelope that way. And that way those elements are protected. There is no reason to add extra weight or extra bulk by adding a piece of foam or a piece of cardstock or printer paper or anything. I would just take and fold it inside out like that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed your coffee break as much as me. Cheers. And I thank you for joining me. Be sure to stay tuned to the end where the recipe will be listed. Bye.